Hello, everybody. We are those guys you hate.
Welcome to the show that encourages you to be your best self by not being like us.
My brother and I hopelessly search for nuance as we wade through wacky segments and crazy conversations.
If you can withstand the insanity, you might actually learn something.
Tyler, what are you going to be getting into this week?
Ryan, if you think the injuries are bad now, just wait until we get into the darker side of football. And Roman culture was perverted and highly sexualized. I wish we could go back. What about you, Ryan?
This week, I'm discussing the Wisconsin volleyball team that has made boobs out of all of us and why Apple is the worst. Allegedly. Let's get to it. Is toxic masculinity really that bad, Tyler? Is it?
Yes.
Why?
It leads to the murder of women.
Okay.
Extreme toxic masculinity leads to violent behavior.
It's sad that you have to take toxic masculinity to a dark place, Tyler.
What?
I don't like to, as I've said many times on the show, I don't like to use this opening here to tell stories. For whatever reason, I like to do some sort of a societal idea or just whatever the deal is. Mm-hmm. But this week, I had something happen to me just a moment ago. I mean, while I was at the gym today, that I have to get off my chest. It's something that blew my mind.
All right, so we are your diary. Go ahead.
Okay,
Go ahead.
It's a journal.
Yeah.
This
just like Indiana Jones.
Young man, in very good shape, is there. He's working out. Big dude, probably on juice, but that's just conjecture. A little round, Tyler. A little round.
All right. Move along.
I'm painting a picture.
Move along.
So he's chewing on the needle, right?
Jesus.
No, so he's there, and he has, a bench that doesn't have, the setup for the bar. It's just a bench by itself.
Sure.
He's there. He's getting ready to work out. Takes a sip out of a 1.5 liter thing of water. Mm-hmm. Almost finished with it. Takes a sip. Puts the cap back on. Flips it. Okay. Now, that was very popular a decade ago or whatever the deal is. Nonetheless, it is like a real video game. You know what I mean?
Sure. It's a challenge you can do for yourself where you're, and it doesn't require a whole lot.
It's a side quest.
Sure.
You're exactly right.
Sure.
So this kid just, if you'll pardon the pun, flippantly just, does it and keeps on with this thing. Nails it, Tyler.
Oh, good
just
for him.
Just hits it in a fabulous fashion because he wasn't even trying.
Sure.
Stops completely, stares at it, and goes on about his business. This toxic masculinity son of a bitch robbed himself of a party that should have been thrown. It was fucking awesome, Tyler. It was great, and he didn't even let himself enjoy it for a minute. He acted like he does that shit all the time.
Yeah, that's our generation's, that's the millennials' way of walking away from an explosion without turning around to look at it.
You need to party it up like it's 1999 when that shit happens. That was badass. You're bullying yourself, kid.
No, I think he's just too cool to react. I think you want what's best for him. I totally get it and I respect it, but you need to let him be cool in his own moment. He knows everybody saw that.
Here's the problem, okay? And I've said it a million times on this show. No word in the English language has ever constricted me the way that cool has. Being cool is just stopping yourself from doing everything that's fun. Have we noticed this?
I don't think that applies in this situation because you're doing a lot of assuming about what that guy was feeling and thinking.
He wanted to do a river dance. That guy has never been that cool in his whole entire life, and he missed his chance. My name is Ryan.
And my name is Tyler.
And we are those guys you hate.
It was a dark and dingy graveyard night. The phone starts ringing as it might. Awake the ghouls from slumbering bed. Answer me or wake the dead.
¿Cómo estás, my parents and tots? In a very special Halloween episode. Tyler, do you have anything on Halloween?
I do not.
I don't either. Welcome to another Those Guys You Hate.
I could have brought some candy at least.
Tyler.
Worn a mask.
The police have asked you to stop doing those two things in particular.
You're in elementary school. You forgot that part.
Exactly right. Now, Tyler, welcome back. Episode, what is this, 141?
141.
That is ridiculous. I'm happy to be back in this booth with you. So let's go ahead and get into it, Tyler. Tyler, I made a sound for this show a long time ago that I think is ready to be put out to pasture, okay?
Really?
Yeah. For it just did, and some of them work. Week in Review, we started that the first time. It's just been with us forever. This one just never achieved what I wanted, so I'm going to put it out to pasture. Are you familiar with this sound?
You've got mail. You've got mail. You've got mail. You've got mail.
Now that is our former You've Got Mail sound. I wanted it to spark fear in you and spark fear in the listeners because generally speaking, something bad is about to happen.
Well, I think that the noise, the way that it's played, the way that it sounds is supposed to match, at least somewhat, the emotion you're going for. And that sound right there, it's got a slow build up. It's a little...
it's weird.
It is weird, but it doesn't punch you in the dick. If you want me to fear, you got to hit me in the dick, man.
Tyler, I am so glad that you said... First of all, let me come over there and punch you in the dick.
Shit.
And second of all, I have come up with 3 new You've Got Mail sounds that I think achieve kind of like what you're talking about.
And are they going to be substituted for each other, or are we deciding here and today which one we're going to use going forward?
We are choosing right now. This is a big deal, and I'm going to let you be the arbiter, okay? I lean a little bit further towards one of them, but I want to make you impartial, okay?
All right.
Tell me what you think about this first one, and we will hereto forthwith use this when I'm sending you a picture. Are you ready?
All right.
Number 1.
You've got mail.
That's number 1, Tyler, okay? Short and to the point.
No, that was no. That was angelic harps playing.
Okay.
It sounded like there should have been sparklers going off as it was happening.
I can't tell if you liked it or you didn't like it.
No, that was a joyous one.
Oh, okay.
That was a joyous one, but not punch in the dick kind of sound.
Okay. How about number 2?
You've got mail.
See, now we're getting somewhere.
That's more where you wanted to be.
That's closer to punch your dick sound, although it does sound like I'm on a stage and there's just a crowd cheering for me. So that's more excitable. That's more happy feeling.
So it sounds to me like you're leaning towards that one.
Yes. So far, number 2.
Now, again, I don't want to contaminate the jury pool, but I will tell you up front, this one, the third one to me feels right.
You said in the beginning you weren't going to tell me which one you were leaning to.
Again, you're going to like what you like. I just want you to know where I'm at. Number 3.
What's new, pussycat? What's new, pussycat?
Well, again, I don't want to, swing the vote, but for whatever reason, I just feel like that hits on the level that we want. It's something about that's intoxicating.
Yeah.
So, all right, Tyler. So what do you think? Is it number 1?
I'm going to answer this with an example which is a very advanced scientific research vessel, which was going to make a trip down to Antarctica and study all these different things. It was left to the public to decide the name of said boat.
Sure.
And the name of the boat wound up being Bodie McBoatface. Very famous story.
That's a formal boat. That's a boat that wears tails, a top hat.
I am one of those people. I myself would have voted Bodie McBoatface.
Sure.
So I hear that, and my first thought is that needs to be the
That's
sound
the
of
one,
our.
isn't it?
That is the sound.
Oh.
It's not punching the dick, but it's so effing weird that I have to agree with.
We're going to go ahead and we're going to put that into... Tyler, I knew that you and I were going to see eye to eye on this. And when you talk about Bodie McBoatface, it makes me think of McDonald's, unless I've been tricked by the internet, had a contest where you could go onto a website and design your own burgers.
Always a terrible idea.
The internet responded in kind by shitting all upon it. Week in Review, maybe I could find that because I've seen it a couple times.
And there's another famous one, I believe it was Ford, where they put up an ability to make your own trailer based on their trucks, and people just went on there and just made the most racist shit possible.
Yeah. Well, good on you and good on America.
The public can't be trusted.
No, or the private, Tyler. It makes me sad, depression index or whatever.
Sure.
No one
What the
cares, you
depression
don't know what
index
to do,
is
don't
a
roll
machine
that
that I
song
built
again.
with my friends and whatever, man. This joke that I do all the time.
He built it out of his friends.
I did build it out of my friends. Thank you, Tyler. What we do here is we talk about where we're at on our mental journey. We sprinkle in a little mental health. And Tyler, how are you feeling this week, brother?
I'm doing all right, Ryan. I'm gonna say I timed this poorly because this is Halloween weekend, but you, my beautiful, lovely audience, you Haitians out there, are not going to hear this episode until Monday. So here's a lesson for Halloween weekend. Moderation, ladies and gentlemen, it is so very important as we go out on this weekend. As I said, if you're still alive after this weekend, you'll hear these words. Moderation for your past selves. You got to be careful. We don't want to drink too much, and don't drink and drive. That's what Ubers are for.
What about apples with razor blades in it? What are you doing there?
We said on last week's show that nobody's giving out apples by themselves on Halloween. I don't think you have to worry about razor blades in your apples.
I'm just cutting to the punch. I'm giving out razor blades, Tyler.
And also for the fearful parents out there, nobody is giving away drugs on Halloween.
Sure.
No one is giving their hard-earned drugs away to your shit-ass kids.
So you don't have to worry about that.
Not at all.
Your kids aren't even that cute, so you're not going to have to worry about that.
For sure. And if you do find a house that is giving away drugs, you let us know where that is, because we will shut them down.
Yes, by taking their inventory.
Right, buying everything they have.
Sure. I'll trade you these apples.
I can put some razor blades in them if you want. Ryan, this week I am at a neutral 5 again.
Spin that
1,
wheel,
2, 3, 4, and 5.
A bloody mess, Tyler. A bloody mess. Okay, gay it up. All right, Tyler. So for the next couple of weeks, what I'm going to be doing is terrible parables, Tyler. I'm going to be telling you about something in my life that can help you. I mean, all cult leaders talk through parables. So
That's a good point.
Yes. So I am going to be telling you guys about something that happened in my life that led to another step in the right direction. I feel like I'm in a very interesting spot right now. I'm really in between two worlds as it is. So when I show you that picture, does that remind you of anything?
Yeah, well, remind me, no, because I've never done it before, but it brings up a familiar feeling of wanting to murder, Ryan.
Okay, and it describe to the listener what it is you're talking about?
Sure. Well, the feeling of wanting to murder is wanting to get your hands around somebody and make sure that their life ends.
Full throttle.
Yeah, what I'm looking at right now is a picture of, first of all, shouldn't be taking photos when you're driving. Good job, Ryan.
I'm very obviously stopped there. That's the point of the photo.
This is an action shot.
Yeah.
Then you're at a red light, and all the lanes are open except for the right lane, which you are in. I'm assuming you want to make a right-hand turn, and
Correct.
there is a single car that is sitting in the right lane, not turning right. He is inhibiting your ability to make that right turn.
That is exactly right.
Yeah.
And what I have told you is that I have used this little part of my life because that intersection right there is on the way to the gym. I go at least once a day, and I am sitting there, and this happens to me a lot. More like in a way that you would not believe. And it made me very angry. So what I started doing was, as a way of entering levity into the situation, I started taking a picture of the car parked all the way in the right lane every time that it happened, as a way to laugh at it, as a way to let off steam. And so I was there, and I was trying to be thankful for the situation that I was in when it dawned on me, Tyler. Looking at that photo, do you notice anything else about it?
No, not really. I mean, I don't see what the problem is.
And neither did I for the months and months that I have been doing this thing. You can still make a right. If you get into the middle lane, you can still make a right without bothering anybody, without there being a problem.
I was just about to say, I don't know if it's a dick move or not, but I go around these people.
And here is my point. You are stuck looking at your problem and going over it in your head so much that you're missing an obvious solution. This whole time that I've been doing it and I've been evolving, I finally reached the point where I came to another idea. And I for whatever the reason.
Murder?
Yes, Tyler,
Good.
murder. But
Finally!
But after the murder, there was a way around it. Instead of sitting and sulking, I figured out a way to get through my problem now that I moved on from just worrying about it. And I think that is something that could be applied to the rest of our cult.
There's always another way around things?
If you don't spend so much time being frustrated and thinking about how the world has robbed you, there's so many other perspectives and so many other things to appreciate. Perhaps you could move beyond this. This week, I am at a 3, baby. How about that, Tyler? How about that? And that's the Depression Index.
It is the Depression Index.
Tyler, I had a crisis.
Jeez, bro. You want bell responsibilities, you handle the bell.
I know. I forget about the bell. I use it sparingly. I had a crisis here this week because...
A crisis, you say?
I did have a crisis. I had my Facts app. I mean, you want to talk about a cult. That is the cult that I'm living in.
His God.
God. Absolutely.
Yep.
What is God if not information that nobody cares about or wants? And today, my Facts app told me something that I just flatly couldn't believe. And I started looking it up, and I couldn't find the information anywhere on the internet.
You questioned your God?
It just didn't seem possible, Tyler. Do you know what it told me?
Tell me.
It said the longest word in the English language is 189,819 letters and would take over 3 hours to pronounce.
I mean, even if it is true, that's stupid.
What do you mean?
What use is there for a word like that? Whoever invented that word is just, it's all bluster.
You're being a dick right now.
Yeah, you're being an asshole. There's no reason.
You're filibustering for no reason. I agree.
Clearly, that's why the dictionary hasn't included it, because it would need to be the size of War and Peace just for that word.
Who's War and Peace? Now, here's the thing. I looked it up, and all I could find was pneumo ultra microscopic colovillicanosis. I'm pretty sure.
Nailed it.
I can't imagine that I messed that up.
What does that mean?
Don't know, Tyler. Don't care, because my world is falling down around me.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. Why would they do that? Like, what? Who?
To test your faith.
What? Oh,
every good religion needs a good old test of faith.
This
Ryan.
is like when God buried those dinosaur bones. I just wasn't ready for that. But, Tyler.
Yes.
I will have you know that under extreme scrutiny and just me bailing water out of this bucket, I will have you know that I did come across the longest word in the English language, and it is 189,819 letters long.
How did you come up with it?
By digging and a little YouTube.
Okay.
And would you like to hear the word, Tyler?
Didn't you say it would take 3 hours?
Methanoil, alan oil, treon oil, sir oil, argine oil, gloin oil, alan oil, sir oil, argine oil, oysterine oil, prolilagin, spartilus, alucilalin, asparaginol, methanoil, glutamine oil, argine oil, lucil, glutaminil, spartil, glutamil, glutaminil, glutamilus,
No, he's summoning a demon. That's not a word. It's some kind of black magic spell. Shut it down before the devil appears.
Did I just grow a tail? What is this? I believe it's some form of amino acid. So,
he could stop now and it would be its own word. There would be no reason to go on from here.
Now here's the thing, Tyler. Really, the fact of the matter is that
full judgment.
My Facts app has not failed me. I will follow you to the ends of the earth. Anything that you tell me, I will pass on as the gospel. You have got a friend in me. Now, Tyler, it's time to get in. Oh, wait.
Seriously, he just went multiple times.
Are you
I heard that.
Tyler, are you a scientist? Don't make me come back there. Are you a scientist?
No.
All right.
So but I know what the English language sounds like.
You don't sound like you do, Tyler. You don't sound like you do. Now, I'm going to need you. You sound like a cat. Tyler, I need you to get in this cannon, okay?
Really?
Yes. It's not a lot of room, so you got to go left foot and then right foot. I need you to get in. You ready? Because we're going to Wisconsin. You ready?
Okay.
Fire!
Now, as we are on, what do you know? This is the worst one yet. What do you know about this Wisconsin volleyball team, Tyler? Do you know what it is I'm speaking of?
Man, is that the one where they were taking pictures and videos of themselves, like in the locker room, like celebrating, and a lot of them were nude, and
yes.
The pictures wound up getting out?
That is correct.
Ah, what a terrible situation that is.
That is correct. And
that sucks.
Well, tell me just your general feelings on people being hacked, on nudes being released, I'm telling you, you can see almost any celebrity that you can think of naked on the internet.
Oh, sure.
Truly.
Yeah,
Truly.
I actually reversed that. I got lots of my naked photos out there on the internet, and then I'll become a celebrity.
I like that.
Yeah, my naked photos are out there waiting for me on that finish line.
He's like a young Kardashian.
Correct.
So we are now at this point where, and it's so easy to say about this particular instance, and I don't know where victim blaming begins, but it's so easy to just be like, hey, if you're taking those pictures and putting them on your phone, you've got to expect to be hacked.
No, I don't.
Is that where we're...
No, I don't agree with that at
all
all.
I'm saying is that it's happening.
Oh, for
Here
sure.
is another, maybe don't expect it, but it's happening.
For sure.
So where does that leave us?
There's never been a shortage of shitty people in the world. It's just the way that people are able to be shitty is evolving with technology.
Of course.
But that hasn't changed anything. I mean, you and I one time spoke, you told the story of a woman who was taken advantage of in a way where her naked photos were posted at her daughter's school one time, and she had to like move out of the town that she lived in. People have always been like that.
Spoiler alert, she did it.
What?
She did it. Remember, she was at the bottom of all that thing.
Oh man, we got to go back and revisit that. It was so long ago.
Such a good episode.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing though, is where I actually saw the video, like right before this thing, not, in any sort of a sexual manner. I saw it. And these are women who are living in an athletic world.
Yep.
I would say most of their time, they're very comfortable with their nudity.
A lot of athletes are,
Sure.
male or female for sure.
And I believe that factors in, because when you see some of this stuff, they're flashing each other, they're naked, they're hitting each other with towels, and they're showing their boobs when they're out on TV. The idea is it's very private. I thought it was just them celebrating, taking a picture of like pulling their tops up.
Sure.
It's all very private stuff.
Yeah.
And are we now at the situation where if you record some of that stuff, if you trade those photos with your significant other, should you expect for it to be public domain? Because that's kind of where we're at.
No, I don't think you should expect. Is it possible for it to happen and then be released? Absolutely. But I don't think we should expect everybody that we meet or anybody that we trust with these photos are just going to be a total shithead and release them to everybody. I don't want to live my life like that.
Well, I'm not talking about people releasing it to everybody. I'm talking about hackers getting in on your Apple ID. I think that's how these things are getting released. I don't think that...
Was that what it was? Or somebody... Because whenever I hear hacking...
It's a great question.
Whenever I hear hacking, usually it comes down to somebody sent somebody something else, or I think it was a super famous incident with Paris Hilton way back in the day where the hacking was just she left her phone somewhere and somebody picked it up and got into it.
A Night in Paris? I believe that's the name of the video. I'm serious.
Oh, I thought you were making a joke.
I mean, I guess I was,
Yeah,
but it's
but-
also the name of the video.
But nevertheless, I think
Bad video.
it's how they were released. Was it released by a friend or somebody that they trusted?
they are
That's
getting
important.
into that right now.
Yeah.
But the fappening, wasn't that all people just breaking into other people's Apple IDs?
I'm not sure.
We can
We can
review.
review.
I believe it's people doing this remotely. I don't think that you've just got a shithead boyfriend. We all know that guy who's like, here, look at this picture of my girlfriend's tits.
Sure, and the internet is
Bad person. Don't do. I mean, I'll look at it, but don't do that.
The internet is replete with that, with revenge porn. is what
Revenge
it's called.
porn,
It's terrible.
hidden cameras.
Yeah. Ugh.
I mean, and
Ugh.
I believe that is where we're at, because we all rebuke these people. We all point a finger and go, that's disgusting. We've talked on the show about knowing somebody who placed a secret camera in the bathroom. And it's very easy to stand up on your soapbox in your ivory tower and say, that's bad. Also, the internet is replete with it because of supply and demand. This shows a very dark light, if that's a real thing, on society and our taste for these things.
I believe they call them black lights.
Don't ever use one of those around me.
I glow like the sun.
I will glow like Burning Man.
Yeah, as I said, it just goes back to there will always be bad people out there, and there is who are willing to do these things, and there is something to be said where in order to do something bad like this, or to witness something bad like this, you had to go out of your way and do bad shit, whereas now it's literally double clicking an icon on your computer and these images come up. It's the ease with which we can be subjected to these things.
Absolutely. And also I am to blame because if somebody says, hey, I have a picture here of your favorite celebrity naked, I mean, it's human desire to see that. Also, while knowing this is morally bankrupt and this is really terrible and I'm contributing to the problem right now.
But you can fix that. You could just not look at the photos.
Can I though, Tyler?
You actually, can I? I'm sorry to white knight this, and you guys can fucking call me out for it all you want. I have specifically not gone and looked at those volleyball videos. Is there a part of me that wants to go look? Absolutely. I'm not going to go do it.
Good on you. I beat the system by saying I was a journalist.
I don't think being a journalist is just claiming you're a journalist.
Let's take a break and I'm going to show you this video. That's a joke, right? What's going on, everybody? Ryan Menendez here. Now, I know that you're such a fan of this podcast, you already know it, but part of this advertising is me explaining shit to you that you already know. Buckle up! So much of this podcast is based on me being a total kook. Now, a bunch of people have reached out to me, and they have let me know that they want to be a kook too. Now, this isn't something that you just stumble on. It doesn't happen by accident. You gotta put in practice. 10,000 hours, am I right? So, what you need to do is read the books that I read. Now, what we've done is we have signed up to work with Audible so you can read the books to become a kook like me. THOSEGUYSYOUHATE.com. Now, here's what Audible wants. They want for you to go over there and get a free book that I'm offering you so you can read, you could get on board, you could sink below the waters and end up in the same place that I am. And what they're hoping is that you'll get that free book, you'll sign up, and then you'll forget to unsign up, and then they can charge you at least once, okay? You know it, I know it, we all know it. Beat the system by breaking that contract before that happens, or stay with them and continue to learn and grow and flourish like a big boy. So if you go to THOSEGUYSYOUHATE.com right now, all of my reading recommendations are there. You could sign up and get the book for free, and then you have 30 days to cancel your membership, and you don't get beat on the deal. You know you won't because you're lazy. That's why you haven't moved out of your parents' house. We love you. Thank you for supporting Those Guys You Hate, and let's get back to the show.
Those guys.
You like the juice, huh?
Yeah, you know.
The juice is good, huh?
You hate.
I get you more juice.
Those guys you hate.
Red circle.
Red circle, Tyler. Trying to feel good all the time doesn't feel very good.
No, it's you can't try to feel good. You just feel good.
What's up with that? Why is chasing down our own personal spoils always seem to spoil us, Tyler? Why is it like a child actor who gets everything that they want? Why does chasing down feeling good make us feel bad most of the time?
Oh, I guess it depends on how you define the things that make you feel good.
Sure.
They might physically make you feel good, but mentally and over the long course of, or a long period of time, they're actually going to make you feel way worse.
Vices. I mean, that's kind of where my mind goes. I don't know. I think there's something very interesting there that a lot of people don't spend a lot, or at least in my assumption, people don't spend a lot of time thinking about this. I just thought I'd bring it up and then move on. So,
well done. You nailed it.
what do you have for a segment, Tyler? Taco to me.
I have a brand new segment, Ryan.
I don't like change, Tyler.
I
prefer bills.
Literally opened the show today or talked in the pregame, whichever one it was, about how you are changing up the way you eat hard-boiled eggs. You are literally taking something in your life that you do every day and changing.
Well, that was just evolution. Like, living my life has whittled down that one skill. And
evolution is change, Ryan.
I don't think you have that right, Tyler. I don't think you have. We can review.
He evolved into the same thing.
It was amazing. It was osmosis, I think.
Would you like me to just go into my segment, Ryan?
Please. And then after that, we'll do week in review. And I would say after that, we'll be just about done here, Tyler.
I love it. And then
I
can get into my Halloween shenanigans, Ryan.
I love it, man. I love it. Stay safe.
Well, Ryan, would you say that the universe is balanced?
I do believe that there is a symmetry, almost a math to the universe and all that's in it.
Do the equation for us, please.
3.14689998284.
You had me when I thought you actually knew the numbers of pi, but 3.14, you nailed it.
Methanol, alanoil, treonoil,
I can hear it.
You're honestly very dismissive of that robotic
It's
voice.
ridiculous.
You're ridiculous.
So you got dark and light, good and bad, always two sides to everything and anything. And yet, everything that is shown to us is done through a filter. Entities, whether they be corporations, groups, or individual people, don't voluntarily show their darker side. Would you agree with that, Ryan?
Don't voluntarily? Sure. I think it's a human nature, or even, businesses or whatever, to try to keep your worst things hidden.
Well, how many dates before whoever you're with sees the real you, Ryan?
I think it was about a year and 3 months. I think that's exactly the line of delineation.
Wow, talk about the long game.
Yeah,
damn.
Yeah. Dude, I can hide it well. I've been living in this shell for quite some time.
Well, on that note,
yeah,
let's get into a brand new segment, The Darker Side. Excuse me, I have asthma.
Gary Larson would be rolling in his grave right now, and I don't even think he's dead.
Did you just kill him?
Not yet.
We can review.
Do you know who Gary Larson is?
I do not.
He's the guy who invented the lighter side, the artist, which I loved as a kid.
Well, let that ragged breathing be everyone's weekly reminder to breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Please don't sue us, Disney. Ryan, the NFL, a behemoth of an entity. It has long been America's sport. Baseball who?
Baseball's very boring.
Very boring.
World Series going on right now, and I don't think anybody knows.
Oh, God. Just carve my eyes out with rusty spoons.
Deal.
Did you know that the collective worth of the NFL as a whole is $132 billion?
That's all the teams? $132 billion. That's
the teams, the real estate, everything.
Well, the fact of the matter is that in the top 100 broadcasts of the year, I think the NFL takes up like 80% or more of that space. That
definitely sounds right.
A spectacle that people, you can't help but go into business with them because that's where the money is,
Well said. Last year's Super Bowl alone was watched by roughly 110 million people. One program, 110 million
around the world.
Yeah. I mean, that's about a third of this country alone. Although all the sources said around 110 million watched the Super Bowl last year, one source from the NFL rated it about over 200 million. So I would like to know where you're getting your numbers, NFL.
Don't look behind this curtain.
That's all well and good, but to see the truly terrible aspect of the game, Ryan, I need you to get in this time machine with me.
You don't want to just use the cannon?
Does it go back in time?
I don't know. I've never turned it up that high.
Let me just get her started up.
Man, I got to tell you, I think I'm going to buckle up here because I don't like the sound of that.
Listen to the way that engine runs.
What if somebody picks up the phone? Are we going to get stuck in 1942?
Thankfully, we don't have a landline.
Oh, man.
Ryan, I don't know if you know this. I don't know if you know this, but the first iteration of American football began in colleges.
I did not know that.
It was a collegiate sport, which began in 1869. But we are stopping in 1905 to see the single most important person in the history of American football. Do you know who that is, Ryan?
Dick Butkus.
Did you just want to say the name Dick Butkus?
Dick Butkus, Tyler.
No, it is Teddy. That is definitely a walrus mustache. Roosevelt, Ryan.
Teddy Roosevelt, sure. Heard of him.
The most important person in regards to American football ever.
Why do you say that?
Right now, let's step out of this time machine.
Yeah, get me out of this thing.
Right now, I know. It's like a closet, basically. We are in the White House. Shh, there's a meeting going on. Right now, as we're in the White House, as you look over there, there is President Roosevelt, and he has summoned the leaders from the major schools like Harvard, Stanford, etc.
Ivy League.
To discuss the future of the sport. They're all talking. It's very serious.
I think I see Lincoln's ghost.
He's very upset. The game of football is on the verge of collapse, Ryan.
Why is that?
The 1905 college football season has just ended and schools are dropping the sport left and right. As you just said, why is that happening? Every year since its inception, the game has become more and more violent. It all came to a head in this last season, which was given the moniker the Death Harvest by the Chicago Tribune.
Wait a minute, wasn't that in the Hunger Games?
I'm sure it had something to do with it. 19 players died.
Wow.
19 deaths on the football field, and there were 137 serious injuries. 137 injuries ranging from broken bones to comas.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like this leather helmet is barely helping at all.
It was basically just an aesthetic piece.
Yeah.
Look how cool I look as a toe.
It is pretty badass, though. Can we agree with that?
No, it's not.
Is this guy a pilot? Is he a quarterback? What the hell is he?
It looks like the tip of a condom, and everything just snapped off.
You have never sounded more ridiculous. Yes, it has a reservoir tip, but that's for my blood.
Oh, thank God it's there, too, because there will be blood aplenty.
Hey, would you squeeze that back in? I'm getting a little woozy.
Roosevelt's own son had his nose broken deliberately as the quarterback for the Harvard freshman team. Some guy came up and just broke his nose on the field.
Sign that guy to a deal.
The very next week, I shouldn't laugh as I say this, the very next week, Union College halfback Harold Moore died of cerebral, meaning the brain, hemorrhage after being kicked in the head while attempting to make a tackle. Do you know how intentionally and how hard you need to kick somebody in order to kill them?
That's pretty wild. I didn't recognize that football was this dangerous back then. I thought that it was just reaching critical mass now with the increase in science, with the increase in nutrition. I didn't realize it had this kind of bloody roots to it.
They were literally described as killing fields.
Wow. Well, I'll tell you, obviously, we watch football in this house. Do you have moral reprehension as you watch football? Where's your mind with all of that?
I certainly don't want to say that I am any moral, what was the word you use?
Reprehension?
Reprehension, thank you, because I am watching it, so it would be very ridiculous of me to say, oh, this is wrong. I will admit, there are certain plays that I see where there is something in me that seizes up when I say it. I'm like, oh my God, is that person okay?
You and I clutch our pearls quite often.
Yeah.
The football viewing experience in this house is very unmasculine.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you and
absolutely.
I are just like,
yeah.
Leave him alone.
For sure. Even when they celebrate, they slap each other in the head. It's like, stop hitting him.
Too hard. That's too hard, guys. And Nicole, who has no history with football or whatever, has been watching with us. And she's like, this is incredibly violent. I cannot believe that people do this.
I think as close as it can get, because there aren't that many deaths, but we in the future will look back on football the way that we now look back on like the Coliseum, where we look at that and we're like, what the fuck are these people thinking?
We spoke directly about that.
About the same thing?
About gladiators, yeah.
Yeah, but where at first gladiators, it had to be convicts.
Prisoners, sure.
Yep.
And then the money and the notoriety was such where you're famous here in this land for, and I'm pretty sure Rome was a pretty, reasonable place where nothing bad ever happened. but
just a Coliseum
brought you up to where people all of a sudden were volunteering. They witness me.
It's good to, well, that was Tom Hardy and
they get the joke.
No, they don't. That was terrible.
They do. You don't have to say it. Everybody gets that.
No, I'm trying to move on. And that's the thing, is that these people would eventually volunteer their time. And all I was going to say is good to know that humanity really hasn't changed much in thousands of years.
Just like you said, there's always been, I hate to say shitty people, because I wonder if part of this is baked into who we are primally. I mean, we've talked about on this show.
Wait, why shitty people?
Well, you're saying that over time that people are still what?
Still looking to be famous, even if that means at that time putting yourself in literally a life-threatening situation. Here, we're not doing life-threatening situations so much, but people are willing to demean themselves and willing to put themselves in really terrible positions for the sense of fame.
Well, and not just that. I mean, you may end up with full body paralysis, but
for sure,
you could change generation after generation of your family's wealth and status and just comfort.
Oh, definitely. And I wasn't even referring to football when I said that. I just meant fame as a whole.
Sure.
People are willing to do crazy shit for
Oh,
it.
absolutely. I'll eat whatever pepper you got, man.
Oh,
Set me
more
up.
on that later.
More on that later.
So changes needed to be made as the sport was seemingly on its deathbed. In this final paragraph, I copied directly from history.com, which is where this information comes from. Thank you, history.com.
Wake up with it every morning.
An intercollegiate conference, which would become the forerunner of the NCAA, approved radical rule changes for the 1906 season. This is what saved the sport. They legalized the forward pass. You weren't allowed to pass the football back then. You had to run it through people.
Wow, this is really the fundamentals of football here.
They abolished the dangerous mass formations because remember, America was adopted from rugby, and
It's
you would
the
get
scrums,
the
yeah.
scrum where those
Yeah.
giant mass piles of people would just fuck each other
You
up.
put your necks together and then run.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Exactly.
How could people be getting hurt? Pussies.
You just had to top it off with that,
It
didn't
rhymes
you?
with wussy. Forgive me. Begins with P.
They created a neutral zone so the opponents had to be away from each other at the start of every play. They doubled the allowed yardage per 4 yards to 10 yards.
Is this even football anymore? What are we doing? We're tickling each other.
And the rule changes didn't even eliminate football's dangers because fatalities declined from 19 in 1905 to 11 in both 06 and 07.
That's about 50% if I'm doing my math. I mean, that's incredible. Listen, in a different occupation, you would be heralded as a genius. You know what I mean? If you cut car crash deaths in half, I mean, people would be singing your praises from here to some other place. It's probably far away.
Timbuktu, you could have gone with there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sure.
Lake,
And then
Lake Titicaca, Tyler.
with another spike, that's a real place, and another spike of fatalities in 1909, it led to another round of changes, which is the football that we know and love today.
Do we? And now, Tyler, would you, if they said, hey, we're going flag football from here on in, would you say, good? All right, good on you?
No. I don't know if I would.
You're part of the problem, Tyler.
I don't know if I would decry the choice. I would respect them for making that choice, but there is a part of me that would feel the loss of that entertainment. Absolutely.
You want to see a guy get paralyzed?
No, I do not. I want to see. I want to see the game played, but I also, hypocritically don't want to see people get injured.
Your mind's telling me no, but your body. Your body is telling me yes, Tyler.
That's because I haven't been paralyzed by football yet.
Yet.
And that, Ryan, is the darker side.
I love it. I love it.
19 deaths. These were literally killing fields regularly.
And how many people died in 2006?
In 06?
You
mean 1906?
Oh, was it 1906? Please forgive me.
2006. People would be in prison right now.
I was saying there were 7 people dead. I got to start watching the news.
No, in 1905, 19 people died. And this was such a regular occurrence that, newspapers always have the illustrations, cultural illustrations to show or represent what's going on in the world. Regularly, newspapers would host illustrations in them that showed skeletons on the field holding the football and stuff. It was a deadly game.
And I think we got to bring it back, bro. Let's make football great again. That was, it's like those stakes. And remember when we went to Chichen Itza and the winning team of that sport
was put to death. We
need to go back to that. Our love of country. That's what makes the World Cup great.
Ryan, what?
If somebody kicks a ball through your legs, they'll kill you, Tyler.
I thought you meant they were putting the winning team to death.
Real stakes. Let's get back to real stakes.
No one has seen that 2018 France team since then. What happened to them?
And I bet they couldn't have been happier. Tyler, you did a great job.
Thank you, buddy. And don't pretend like you want to go back to those times because as you just said, we clutch our pearls at too hard of celebrations.
Yeah.
If you saw somebody die on the field, our lives would be changed.
I don't want to see deaths.
Ever.
But what I do want, Tyler, is to get into Week in Review. Tyler, last week you and I discussed, did Apple slow down its technological products on purpose? We said they did. Were we right?
I'm sure.
That is correct.
That is 100% true. In 2020, Apple agreed to pay $113 million to settle with iPhone users whose smartphone clock speed was artificially slowed to boost hardware sales. Tyler.
And how much was the fine?
$113 million. So they're probably,
I mean, what a joke.
They're probably going to have to put their nose to the grindstone to put that. I mean, have they made that much money since I started this?
More than likely. That's the thing. When you fine the wealthy, these tiny little fees,
Sure.
Basically you're saying, hey, they're saying we've made more money from doing this illegal thing than the fine.
Absolutely.
Why would we stop doing it?
We want to slap you on the wrist, but we don't want to hurt you too bad. So, and it's just this idea. Not only are they robbing us just straight out of our pockets, not only right before we went on, you and I talked about these really expensive computers that we have, these MacBooks, that you have to buy an accessory to use the technology that you want with it, which makes the product way worse.
Yep.
The fact that that's not built into the actual CPU, it's just, it's so much waste of resources that are very hard to come by and very expensive. And here we sit, completely wrapped up in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Don't touch my computer.
No, I need it. I hate you, but I need it.
Ryan, let's just stop pointing at me.
It's you. Go.
Ryan, last week I mentioned someone dying from eating the world's spiciest pepper. Was I correct?
No.
Oh, I mean, Mount Rushmore of sounds. Technically, no. But I'm sure the people I read up on wished they were dead. Like in 2016, when a 47-year-old man ate pureed ghost pepper and retched so hard he tore his esophagus.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know the people.
Pureed ghost pepper, what are you doing?
Pureed ghost pepper.
What are you doing?
You got to throw that blender away and then burn down the kitchen. I mean, you're releasing all sorts of toxins into the air.
That's chemical warfare.
It absolutely is.
That's crazy.
have never understood the I can eat really spicy food guy. I've just never gotten it.
But at that point, it's not, I don't think that is, let me show you how hot of a pepper I can eat. That is, I'm daring you to eat this.
Yes. And we also discussed on last week's show what the hottest pepper was. Did you look it up?
I did. It was the Carolina Reaper.
I guess Carolina Reaper. Was I right?
That is correct.
You nailed it.
I absolutely did. And I think that this is the first time that I can remember in quite some time that we actually got one of these right. Do you agree?
Sounds about right.
Wow! Congratulations!
Just to give everybody an idea, jalapeno pepper on the Scoville scale, which is how they rate spiciness in peppers.
Right.
Jalapenos have 8,000. The Carolina Reaper has 2 million.
That's incredible.
Just to
because I find
quantify.
jalapenos to be a little muy picante.
They're a little too much for my delicate palate.
I like jalapenos in the right context. Tyler, last week we had discussed priapisms, and you said that it was something that happens to a male dead body.
Mm-hmm.
You were wrong.
No.
Not how we do it, but I'll accept it.
I got caught up in the air, Tyler.
I looked this up as well.
Okay, what'd you get?
Yes, you were right. It is. I said that it was only on a corpse, where that's not true. It is just a prolonged erection.
Usually unwanted, without sexual arousal.
Correct.
It sounds terrible.
Terrible.
Right.
And however, there are nicknames for boners after death, such as a death erection, angel lust, rigor erectus, or terminal erection.
I think that I went to school with a rigor erectus. I think he was like a transplant from Europe.
Sounds like a scientific designation. Watch the rigor erectus.
And the thing is, and I don't think that we should be saying this here because I know teachers let kids listen to this, but also corpses can finish. They can ejaculate when hung or with some severe brain damage. But
Forget the volleyball videos. I want to see some videos of that.
All right,
release the video.
Let's finish this up and I'll show you my collection.
Ryan, last week we discussed a billionaire who gave it all away to become a missionary. Did I find out who you were talking about?
No.
Well, you're not searching hard enough, Tyler.
No, there is an honorable mention though. Chuck Feeney, who never became a missionary, but he did secretly give away $8 billion in his life. And as of 2016,
who did he give it to?
Just different charities. He actually created a foundation back in the 70s, created multiple businesses around the world with hundreds of employees just to give his money away to different charitable foundations.
Really beautiful.
In 2016, he was residing in San Francisco with his wife with a net worth of $2 million.
That's crazy, man. And I love those people, like we've talked about, who reach the upper echelons of where they want to go and find emptiness in it.
Yep.
I love the people who decide, I'm just going to be moral. I know moral is a flexible ground, but it's hard to look at that and not say that's a really beautiful thing. I love the people who have everything and decide to be good anyway.
That would be, and that is a beautiful thing. Like, I wish Jeff Bezos would stop chasing the steroids and cheating on his wife and think more about helping other people. But, some people are just shitheads.
Yeah, and they're rich, Tyler.
Yeah,
Last week,
yeah.
I discussed Big Johnson t-shirts that I grew up with. Did I look them up and was very confused by the times?
I guess.
That is correct.
Now, Tyler, well, actually, let me go ahead and use this for the first official time.
What's new, Pussycat?
If you will check your email, Tyler, I have 3 examples of a very popular clothing line that our older brother Michael had some of these shirts.
Okay.
Now go ahead and before you even read what's on the shirts, just give them a general aesthetic idea of what this looks like.
Well, it's a cartoon. It looks like something that would come out of a comic strip almost.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
And the main character's name is Normus Johnson.
Yeah, got you. I see.
Which is clever.
Sure, the whole thing seems to be centered around this nerdy small dude's giant wang.
Name of the episode, or I'll be damned. But the idea is now read some of the words that are on there, like because every different shirt had a different genre. So one is a bar, one is a gym,
Sure.
one is a this. So go on.
Well, the one that I'm looking at with him in the gym, it all has to do with how the men are looking at themselves as if they are not enough, and all the women are looking at him as he lifts way too much weight
With his
schlong.
I mean, I've done a wet towel, but that is just out of control.
Yeah, and on the bottom it says, always pumping up with a nice, clean snatch.
Now that is not subtle, Tyler.
No.
That is directly just jamming in there. And kids walked around like this. What? Give me another one.
This is him on the football field, and he's surrounded by his team, and all the guys again are like looking at the playbook, unaware of what's happening.
Does he look like he has CTE, Tyler? Look into his eyes.
Sure,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
He doesn't know where he's looking.
Good.
And I notice how no matter what shirt you look at, there's always a bimbo with big old titties right next to him.
bimbo, you
bimbo.
said?
She is a bimbo.
Are you sure that's not a hussy?
That is a bimbo,
Okay.
without a doubt.
I think you're right, actually.
And this one, he has a football in front of his wang, but it is way too big football to represent his gigantic schlong. And on the bottom, it says, "Stand back, baby. I don't know how deep I'm gonna go."
Now, Tyler, I think just in the interest of journalism, is it a schlong or a wang? Pick it. You're waffling. Pick a side.
I enjoy the different many terms that come with penis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I forgive me. And there's one last one there, just for giggles and shit.
Sure. And finally, it's him camping, and even the bear is looking on from the background at this guy's wang, and he is lying down on the ground, and he is quite literally pitched a tent.
Yeah.
But it only goes from his shin to his stomach. So it's a tent for his penis, apparently.
It's like Kronk.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Why not?
Now,
I hope you get your reference.
Go ahead and read that one very quickly, and we will move on.
That one says, when you're going deep in the bush, it pays to have a big Johnson.
It sounds like they're talking about sex. I got to be honest.
Yeah.
They should have probably chosen those words a little bit more carefully, because
Sure.
that could be misconstrued. Now, the fact of the matter is, our mom, who is puritanical in many ways, she allowed Mikey Menendez to have some of these. What do you think is the social... I mean, there has to be some sort of a psychological idea to the fact that we thought that was okay at one point. I can't imagine anybody wearing that right now.
It was a different time. Back in the 90s, you guys were wearing Jinko jeans, which now, ridiculous.
I disagree.
Ryan, last week we spoke on the hypersexuality of Pompeii.
Okay.
Did I do some follow-up on this?
Methanol, alanoil, treonoil, serol.
It's not the right button, Tyler.
I thought you were fucking with me.
No.
That is correct.
Ryan, because
Nailed it.
Pompeii was a Roman city. Roman culture back then was seemingly all about bisexuality. Roman
And
men.
that's why God took him off the planet, Tyler.
I don't have an argument for that.
Just a joke.
You could be right.
Yes, you cast dispersions on the Roman people last week, saying
It wasn't dispersions. I was saying that they were hypersexual.
Okay.
It wasn't although
I believe you did.
They did have the age at which they would have sex with some of these young men was a little bit too young for my liking, but it's a different time. What do I know?
people didn't live that long. You know what I mean?
That is actually
11 years old is like 45.
that there is some actual truth to what it is
Sure.
you're saying. You're absolutely right.
I mean, we live so long now. If you're 40 years old living at your parents' house, nobody even looks at you sideways. Everything's fine. Everybody's a kid.
That's right, Ryan. No one's looking at
We're
you.
good. I'm good, right? I help them out.
Well, Roman men were expected to be interested in sex with both men and women. And because their society was so patriarchal, status in society wasn't about who you had sex with. It was about the role you took. The one doing the penetrating wasn't looked down upon.
That's not gay.
The one getting penetrated was lowering your status in society because you were seen as being conquered and giving up your freedom, something the Romans did not appreciate.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
That is super interesting. So how do you decide who the bottom bitch is? Like, why would you?
Your status in society.
So you're not even signing up for it. You're just expected to give it up?
That's a good question. I think there was obviously, I don't want to say romance, but there was attraction on both sides. I don't think this was like rape. These weren't ducks.
Well,
they were just.
I don't mean that it was forcible rape. I'm just wondering if people were put into this position against kind of their own will, like arranged marriages or these different things. Like, hey, this is what's expected of you, so okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, I think if you were already in a particular place in society and you got with somebody who was higher up, it
helps you.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah,
even if you're taking it in the beehole.
Correct.
Historically speaking.
That's the way the scientists say it.
Tyler, I'm so sorry. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
And that was my last week in review.
Well, in that case, I got another week in review, Tyler.
Right in your beehole.
You'll take it if you want to be on this podcast. Now, Tyler, great job this week. Forget about the casting couch thing. You're fine. You're in.
We've already shot the video.
You're right. Now, here's the thing. I want for you to tell the people how they could be our wards and how they could get in touch with us as long as we're the ones doing the touching.
Oh, I thought you were going to say how they could wind up on our casting couch.
Sure.
Go to THOSEGUYSYOUHATE.com and there's actually a little voicemail button right there. So just leave us all your information. We'll call you.
Or a video, whatever you want.
And click on all the links and subscribe. Please, we need your support.
I am not above, doing some sort of like a James Franco thing with this show. Tyler,
What? No, elaborate on that.
I would rather not. What's the moral of the story, Tyler?
That Me Tooing is wrong and we definitely shouldn't take after people who did it.
Oh, I didn't mean that part.
What did you mean?
Studying my roles really hard and mastering my craft.
You could have gone Heath Ledger there, buddy. Ryan, what's the moral of the story?
The moral of this story is planned obsolescence is something that's really going to take over. The fact that it's kind of the Wild West of these companies that are learning to control their products after you've had them. And they are now in control of us, and they are using up all of these resources and destroying this planet all in the quest to make the almighty dollar. And at some point, we need to take a look at this and say, this is insane. What do you think about that, Tyler?
I think that we will all be underwater or dead from global warming in the next 20 years. So it's really not something you really have to worry about.
Oh, well then, you know what? Forget I said anything at all.
Yeah.
We are those guys you hate.
Be kind, and I'm sorry.
Methanol, alan oil, treon oil, sir oil, argine oil, gloin oil, alan oil, sir oil, argine oil, oystein oil, prolilaginil, aspartilus, alucilalin, asparaginil, valil, methanol, glutamine oil, argine oil, lucil, glutaminil, aspartil, glutamil, glutaminil, glutamilis, alucil, valil, glutamini. Lysilaginil, threonil, phenylalanil, threonylisil, tryptophylisolucil, asparaginil, ceril, histidilocilalanisiliginilisil, prolil, prolil, methanoil, valoil, valil, aspartil, aspartilucil, phenylalanil, glutamil, aspartil, methanoil, oisoil, aspart. Ilglycil, valilisilucilucilalinilocilucil, glutamil, valilucil, ceril, glycil, glutaminilicilucil, prolil, cystinil, glutamil, glutaminil, glycilaginil, original, methanoil, oisoil, argine oil, esol, low oil, histid oil, alan oil, valoil, alan oil, asparagine oil. Salicil glycil 3-anilyl phenylalanillucil glutamil glycilaginilicilicil valilasparaginilicilucil asparaginil ceril 3-anilaspartilis lucilalanil aspartil glycilaginil prelil cerilisalucilval. Illusil triptorpoil oil tyrossil phenylenil glutaminillusil glutamil 3 enil cerilus periginillusil prenil glutaminillusil cyril alanil cyril velil cyrilisil velil glutamil thronil prelil cyrilicilaginilissil velil 3 enil glutaminil glycilus periginil lanillusilucilizi tryptophyl velil glutaminil tyrossil 3 enil glycilisil glutaminil 3 enil glycilis glutamil velilisil aspartyl phenylalanil glycilisil cyril tryptophylaginil cyril glycil velilalanil phenylalanil histidil cyril velilisil usil histidilalilazilusilaginil prelil glutamilusil valil aspartilusil glutamil 3 enil velilisil glycilaginil cyril asparaginil glutamil asparaginillusil glutamil aspartilalanil phenylalanil 3 anilisilusilalanil utamil 3 enil glutamilusil glycilisil preliliginilusilusilis patile prelil glutamil aspartyl velil aspartylisil prelil aspartyl glutamilysil cyrilicillusil methanoil treonoil tyrosoil valoil alanoil glutaminoil pern Ililanilusilicil histidil tyrossil prelilaspartilicillusil histidil asparaginil cyril 3 enil aspartyl glycil glutaminil glutamil aspartyl glutamilus prelil glycil phenylalanil prelil cyril phenylalanil alanil asparaginil cyril velil glutaminil asparaginil phenylalanilisil glutamil aspartylaginil velilisil phenylalanilisil glutamil methanoil oisoil valil tryptophylisil glutamil phenylalanil glutamilaginil aspartyl Lucil 3 eniliginil glutaminil methanoil valoil glutamoil ceroil asparaginillusil glutaminil aspartylisil pterosyl glutamin methanoil alanoil treonoil ceroil aginoil gloinoil alanoil ceroil aginoil oisterinoil prolilaginil aspartylisil asparaginil velil methanoil glutaminoil aginoil lucil glutaminil aspartyl glutaminil glutamilisil velil glutamini Lysilaginil 3 enil phenylalanil 3 enilisil tryptophylisolusil asparaginil cyril histidillusilalanilisilaginilisil prelil methanoil valoil valil aspartylusil phenylalanil glutamil aspartyl methanoil oisoil aspart Ilglycil valilisilusilusilalanilusilusil glutamil valilusil cyril glycil glutaminilisilusil prelil cystinil glutaminil glycilaginil original methanoil oisoil arginoil esol oil histidoil alanoil valoil alanoil asparaginoili Silicil glycil 3 enilanilusilicil phenylalanilusil glutamil glycilaginilisilusilusil velilus periginilisilusil asparaginil cyril 3 enilaspartylilusilalanil aspartyl glycilaginil prelil cerililusil vol Illusil glycilusil methanoil triptorpoil treonoilisol oil tyrossil phenylalanil glutaminilisilusil glutamilusil 3 enil cerilus periginillusil prelil glutaminil cyril alanil cyril velil aspartyl cyrilicilusil velil cyril glutamil thronil prelil cyrilicilaginilisil velil 3 enilisilusil glutaminil glycilus periginilanilusilusilanilusilucilizi tryptophyl velil glutaminil tyrossil 3 enilanil glycilisil glutaminil 3 enil glycilisil glutamil velilisil aspartyl phenylalanil glycilisil cyril tryptophylaginil cyril glycil velilalanil phenylalanil histidil cyril velilisil Usil histidilalilazilusilaginil prelil glutamilusil valil aspartilusil glutamil 3 enil velilisil glycilaginil cyril asparaginil glutamil asparaginilusil glutamil aspartylalanil phenylalanil 3 anilisilusilalanil Utamil 3 enil glutamilusil glycilisil preliliginilusilusilis patile prelil glutamil aspartyl velil aspartylisil prelil aspartyl glutamilysil cyrilicillusil methanoil treonoil tyrosoil valoil alanoil glutaminoil pern Ililanilusilicil histidil tyrossil prelilaspartylilusil histidil asparaginil cyril 3 enilaspartyl glycil glutaminil glutamil aspartyl glutamilisilusilusil prelil glycil phenylalanil prelil cyril phenylalanil alanil Asparaginil cyril velil glutaminil asparaginil phenylalanilisilaginil glutamil aspartylaginil velilisilusil phenylalanilisil glutamil methanoil oisoil valil tryptophylilusil glutaminil phenylalanil glutamilaginil aspartyl Lucil 3 eniliginil glutaminil methanoil valoil glutamoil ceroil asparaginillusil glutaminil aspartylisil pterosyl glutamin
Red circle.
What's your deal, man?
I mean, I'm hoping I can hide behind that fact that we're recording now, so you stop talking about your balls.
Tyler, grow up, man.
Grow
That's
up.
off air. They're itching like crazy just in this one spot, man.
That's why God gave you fingernails, buddy.
That's why God gave you two. If one offends you, pluck it out. How are you, bro?
I'm all right, buddy. How you doing?
Doing well, aside from this ball situation. What's
Sorry
the
to hear that.
proper way? Speaking of huevos, what's the proper way to eat a hard-boiled egg? And the reason that I ask is because
Not in front of somebody.
I think I know. Yeah, you put it into a Tupperware and you eat it as you're driving. Do you know I probably eat, I'm totally guessing here, 50% of my food whilst driving? I just find it to be more convenient.
I don't think you're supposed to be eating while you drive.
I've actually come up with a whole system, but that is neither here nor there.
To justify you eating while driving.
Yeah. I'm willing to fit the facts into whatever I need them to say to get me where I need to go, much like driving.
Oh, you're in the perfect culture for that, buddy. We do that for everything.
I love that.
So no, you do not.
Sure. Well, I love it when I do it.
Oh, got it. Yeah, that makes sense.
When other people do it, I find it to be short-sighted and myopic. Tyler, what is the proper way to eat a hard-boiled egg? Think about it before you answer, because so you have the hard-boiled egg in your hand.
I mean, from the thinnest piece down.
Okay, how many bites are you taking? Is really what I'm asking.
3 bites.
3 bites.
3 bites. You do the top half, then you do a quarter of the bottom,
Sure.
half of the bottom,
Tyler,
and then the other
you
half.
and I, we are simpatico, as they say.
We probably went to the same school for how to eat eggs.
Sure.
You know, probably had the same teacher.
Toughest 3 years of my life, Tyler. Toughest 3 years.
It's a 2-week class.
I'm a shell of my former self. All right, that's over. I want to change that. I think the 3-bite system is where everybody goes. I think that we need to change that. And I'm grading this on my situation in terms of you're in the car. What people don't understand about the hard-boiled egg or really care to think about because it's not interesting. It's a crummy food, Tyler. A crummy food. crumby.
The way that you make your hard-boiled eggs, it's a crumby food.
Oh,
sure.
Well, the way that you make your hard-boiled eggs, it's like a Capri Sun. You just drink out the middle.
Still a chicken.
Yucky. Liquid chicken.
When it comes to a hard-boiled egg, I don't want the yolk runny, but I do still want it like that dark red.
Golden.
Yeah.
I think at some point when I was a kid, I was brainwashed by this idea that if you touch raw chicken, you're going to get, what's it called? Salmonella.
Yeah, got to ingest it.
You would think that would be from fish, right?
It's moving on. It's almost like how people treated other people with AIDS back in like the 80s. It was if I touch this person, I'm gonna get AIDS. That's not how it works.
I'm not 100% sure that that's not
Princess
right.
Diana was on the forefront of this. Okay,
all right.
Touching people and whatnot that had AIDS showed the world.
Harvey Weinstein too.
Showed the world that you don't have to be scared of people in that situation.
And that was a big wall to break down in the
wall.
80s.
And that was Princess Diana.
Like Berlin.
Well, you also had Reagan and his wife who were just pretending that the AIDS epidemic wasn't happening.
If I close my eyes, you can't see me. You know what I mean?
Just pretending people dying, just dropping dead. Just pretending it doesn't happen.
And that's the perfect segue to how to eat a hard-boiled egg.
Exactly.
Tyler.
Please.
Full circle.
Yeah.
Full oval. 2 bites, Tyler, and here's why. When you bite off the top, now you've got a perfect you got to take a big first bite. It's not going to always be great, but you're doing yourself a favor. You don't have to worry about then cutting what would you call that? The South Hemisphere. You cut that in half. Now crumbs are flying all over the place. 2-bite system. Not a crummy situation. I'm glad we got that out of the way. Princess Diana stopped by. Who else? Who else was in there?
Hey, Princess Di, how you doing?
Princess Di my eggs for Easter, am I right? Tyler.
What?
I'm just trying to figure out a way to put a little bow on top. Princess Di my egg. I think I got everything in there. Tyler, I had a real experience this week. This is enough with the eggs and all that bullshit. Who cares about that? That's not real.
I think everything that happens is a real experience for us because we're experiencing it.
What if it's in the metaverse, Tyler? That's not going well, by the way.
I hope that shit figuratively burns down. Like I want to see him sink all of his money into this.
He's lost billions and billions of dollars recently, ever since he rebranded from Facebook to meta. I think people already just hate the word meta.
Yeah, it's really terrible.
It's like rebranding your company woke. You just lost everybody, bro. Even the people who agree with you.
I think somebody online wrote it, I think best. He is either going to be very, very right or very, very wrong.
Well, he's changed the world once before. I'm sure he's betting on himself. You know what I mean?
Please fail, please fail, please fail, please fail.
And can I have some of that white face paint? I just feel like I'm not being cautious enough. I went with my girlfriend, Venezuelan, came over here from her country. I went with her to the airport to receive her two grandmothers, her mother's mother and her father's mother, that she has not seen in 8 years. They just passed a law. They just had the ability to bring them over, I believe, within the last week or two. And within that time, bang, we were there. We were waiting. We picked them up.
Oh, the way you said bang like that, I thought you were going to...
The plane went down.
I thought you were going to say somebody died.
No,
you scared the hell out of me.
No, they showed up and...
Well, what kind of stupid-ass fucking law is that? You're telling me that I can't leave my country?
Yeah, Tyler. Some of those countries, a little run by criminals.
Yeah.
And just a little.
And I'm pointing out how ridiculous it is.
Yeah, it is. It is. It seems to be a crummy time to be on the planet to bring it back. But that's CRUMMY. And what was really cool about it is not only were these two people coming back, which was such a crazy experience, I'm on the outer edges of this situation, and just to experience that, it was very beautiful. I mean, a tear-filled endeavor, but the whole plane was filled with people in these circumstances. So I'm in the terminal just feeding off of people's great, beautiful energy. I mean, I was sucking that shit up like a joy vampire. It really was beautiful. It moved me to tears quietly on more than one occasion. It was awesome.
You are a silent crier. I will give you that.
Sure.
Well, that sounds like a nice experience.
Hiding from dad all those years really...
Damn, dude, that's dark.
Yeah, I know.
I don't really have a witty response for that. It's a beautiful experience.
It really
Good
was.
for her.
Now, for the people who have been listening to... Yes, they're all back together, and it was really, really nice seeing, mother hug daughter, mother hug son, her grab her granddaughter's face, who's now a woman, hopefully, and just gazing into her eyes. It was really awesome. Now, people who have listened to the show for a long time are like, wait a minute, this isn't self-involved. Why are you even talking about this? Here's how I factor into this thing.
Well, you were there. That's self-involved already.
And not enough.
Got you.
They asked me, hey, when all of this happens, can you film it?
Mm-hmm. Was it a 5-minute selfie?
It was so invasive. I've never met these women. So as they're hugging their loved ones and they are like having this life-changing experience, I am holding an iPhone 3 feet from them. I'm just a creepy dude.
Hey, pervert, get away from them.
It was, and I'm, hey, this isn't about me.
Yep.
They want this, but damn, did I hate it. I felt so strange. And I'm like walking around this circle, holding it up to Abuela's face.
Wow, you were given permission to be a creepo.
For sure.
Wow.
For sure.
Wow.
I'm not used to operating in the sunlight.
I will I will give that credit. I have obviously never been in that situation. As I picture it, there's a little anxiety that comes up. That would make me uncomfortable.
I understand wanting to be able to relive that
I get, absolutely.
Experience, but also in my mind,
do it yourself.
I've never just hold a selfie stick while you're saying hello to your grandma. So, but also in my mind, if I experience that, I think I would just experience it. I'm not a videotaper. I don't record my life in that way.
Yeah.
My girlfriend is younger than I am. She grew up with a different experience.
Sure.
So she records every freaking thing in the whole world.
Yeah.
And I am trying to stop my judgment of that. It's just strange to me.
It's very difficult.
Yep. Knock it off, kids. Tyler, creators of Bitcoin?
Weird that you were just talking about your girlfriend and then said knock it off, kids. What about creators of Bitcoin? Did something happen to them?
You heard me. Nobody knows who it is, Tyler. Unknown.
A creator of Bitcoin.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a totally arbitrary, just like regular money, totally arbitrary thing that we just assign value to.
It's like an NFT to some degree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, hey, look at this thing. But I mean, at least with NFTs, it's like it can be art that was created by somebody, where Bitcoin is like, hey, here's a digital thing that's worth actual money.
But wait a minute. Couldn't the same thing be said about cash?
That's what I just said.
Oh.
Yeah, I said just like actual money,
you know
it's
what?
this arbitrary thing that we just assign value to.
But money is a note saying that I have gold in storage somewhere, isn't it? Or
I don't have any gold.
bag
You
of
have
bonds?
gold.
I think I have some crew grants.
I don't think
know.
money means you have gold stored somewhere.
I gotta call Charlie Chris. I don't know how this whole thing works out.
Where's my gold?
For Chris' sake.
This is going to be a show of puns.
Yeah, I'm feeling punny today. Let's do it. For Chris' sake.
I'm just picturing you going to a bank and just putting down $100 bill and be like, I'd like $100 in gold, please.
Hello, I am here for my gold. Please get it post haste. I bought this incredible top hat to wear for this situation.
Marked.
Yuri.
Are you ready? Ready? Go!
Okay. I feel like that's like our pre-game prayer. What do you think about that?
Well, you keep forcing it on me, and it puckers my butthole. So I guess I just
You're
have
gonna
to
listen to it, and you're gonna like it.
I guess I just have to accept it.
There you go. Good on you.